let's just all do ourselves a favor and enjoy this beautiful warm weather while we still can, because before we know it, it's going to be cold again, and we won't be able to do this. Boise Airport tells me that in the next 5 years, you can expect to see major improvements to the parking situation. The main question, can you use the center lane to turn and merge onto traffic? Give him a spin, give him a twirl right here real quick so you can see. We got the rainbow mane. He looks great. He looks, and the tail. Reporting on I-84, I'm Chase Biefeldt. Yeah, Mark, well, special sessions don't happen often here in Idaho. We've only had a handful of them ever since the conception of the legislature. An air compressor burned up in the older portion of the building behind me. The levels have gone down maybe a little over half a foot. Paul, if you want to zoom in on those rocks, you can kind of see for reference. We'll give you more details as they come. Right now, we know that nobody is hurt. This is a family home, and that most of the fire was in the garage. Your main source of income is gig to gig. So why are you doing these?
It's lifting spirits.
Are we seeing COVID-19 having effects on hunger here in Idaho?
We are, Chase.
When might it be time for someone dealing with grief to go seek help from maybe a counselor? Well, a young love lost when life got in the way has come full circle decades later through a lot of introspection.
We're just going to be completely honest. We're freezing our booties off out here. It is so cold.
That's right here at home with the Idaho National Guard. Let's try to go down there.
Bump, bump, bump. It's impossible to resist the bump, bump, bump.
It's so good. And 4 out of those last 5 years, they've had the highest average GPA in the country of gymnastics programs.
So not only are they hardworking, they're also hardworking in the classroom.
They're great in the classroom, and that's what Coach Bird preaches. E-scooters are rolling back to town, but the coronavirus is still around. So what are the scooter companies doing to minimize the spread? Well, Lime has about 200 scooters in Boise. Here's what they're doing with them.
Every time the vehicles are charged, they're being disinfected. And the same goes when any mechanical repair is being performed.
Spin has 80 scooters in Boise. Their staff is doing the same as Lime, cleaning the scooters every time they're brought in for a charge or touched by an employee, which varies depending on how much they're being used. But who's cleaning the scooters between charges? To be safe, the answer is you. Experts at the National Institute of Health, the CDC, UCLA, and Princeton University all say the coronavirus can last on surfaces for up to 3 to 4 days. But it all depends on the surface. Take it from a local expert at Central District Health.
We have seen, and CDC has put out information, that it can be anywhere from a couple of hours to a couple of days.
The virus can live on plastic and stainless steel for up to 3 days, but it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing.
It really depends on the surface and the context of where you're finding that surface.
Which brings us back to e-scooters, which are found outside, typically in direct sunlight. Brandon says UV rays are really good at killing viruses, but scooters won't always be in the sun.
So if you're thinking about the handles themselves, it could be on there for days if it's underneath and not getting direct sunlight.
At the end of the day, your risk of catching the virus like this is lower than catching it like this.
Person to person is definitely higher.
Between you and the e-scooter companies doing their part to flatten the curve, you should be all right, as long as you're following social distancing guidelines from the CDC.
I would certainly advocate for people taking their own sterilization swabs and wiping down the handles before they engage in them.
Chase Biefeldt, Idaho's Newschannel 7.
Two-year-old Rory Pope was from out of state visiting family when he disappeared just after noon on Wednesday. Since then, deputies and volunteers have been looking for Rory in the Legacy subdivision near Floating Feather and Lindor Roads. And that's where we find our Chase Biefeldt. He's there live now. Chase, what can you tell us?
That's right, Gretchen. We are in the Legacy subdivision here in Eagle, where the search continues for 2-year-old Rory Pope. He has been missing for well over 50 hours now. Police continue their search. There have been hundreds of investigators combing through this neighborhood looking for Rory. Those agencies include Eagle and Boise Police, Ada County Sheriff's deputies, the Idaho Department of Probation and Parole, even FBI federal agents are out here conducting house-by-house interviews. Police have searched over 30 homes here in this neighborhood and are all using the resources available to them. That includes canines, aerial drones, even sonar equipment to search the ponds nearby. Even with all these resources, though, they are still asking for your help, the community. Rory is a 2-year-old, so there are many places he could be in this neighborhood.
One of the things that I'd like to do is ask the community to do a few things for us, especially anyone here locally. We'd like to ask everyone to search their own space, look under patio covers, look in sheds, look in your car, look in your garage, just to double check anywhere that a 2-year-old could crawl into and hide.
Now, Rory went missing around noon on Wednesday. He is a white 2-year-old with curly blonde hair. Just to give you a refresher, his family was packing up to leave when he went missing. Now, this pond behind me right here is the pond where law enforcement have been focusing much of their searches throughout these past couple days. This is just the pond that was closest to proximity where his grandparents lived. This is closest to the last place where Rory was seen. Now, dive crews have done their best to search this pond the best they can, but as you can see, there's so much mud in this pond, and as soon as divers got in, the water got very murky, and it is quite deep in the middle. So what they decided to do today, they put a pump in the water across the pond. They put that in about 1 o'clock today, and the levels have gone down maybe a little over half a foot. Paul, if you want to zoom in on those rocks, you can kind of see for reference how much the water has gone down. It looks to be a little over 6 feet or 6 inches, almost a foot now. They hope to have this water drained by tonight or tomorrow at the latest. Now, Ada County Sheriff's Office is asking everyone in the area to check their security cameras, their Ring doorbells, any video surveillance footage they might have in their homes between 11:30 a.m. and 12:30 noon on Wednesday. That was the time that Rory went missing. That was the date on that. It was September 2nd. Now, the community has been very involved in this search so far. Police are asking you to keep that energy up and call with any information or any tips you have on Rory's whereabouts or where you last saw him with that video. They want you to call them. That number is on your screen right now, 208-377-6790. That is Ada County Non-Emergency Dispatch. They will come to you if you have any video of Rory. They're asking you to not put that up on any social media platforms or on email. They want to see it themselves first. Gretchen.
All right, thanks for that update, Chase.
Rochelle Ruffing and her family spent Friday, June 19th, paddleboarding on the Snake River near Pillar Falls. Rochelle's family just lost their dog, Ben, the day before.
This was supposed to be a relaxing trip to heal and just kind of relax on the river.
But shortly after taking this family picture, Rochelle felt something was off.
And I looked over, and the first thing that alerted me was I saw an empty kayak pop through the falls and start to sink.
The kayak belonged to Brendan Lease. He was cutting through Idaho on a road trip with friends to see the beauty of Shoshone Falls. But things went south for Brendan after kayaking through Pillar Falls. The current sucked him under the river.
About 3 to 5 minutes after the kayak came out, I saw Brendan come out. He was face down, and all I could see was the top of his life jacket, and his head was suspended under the water.
Rochelle's daughter's boyfriend, Alex, flipped Brendan over and swam him to a nearby boat.
Brendan's mouth was open. His eyes were open. It was very haunting. His fingernails were blue. There was no pulse. There was no breath.
A stranger helped lift Brendan onto the pontoon, where Rochelle began emergency CPR. Rochelle's daughter, Adri, only 13 years old, called 911, while Rochelle performed chest compressions. Another stranger assisted with breaths.
We were able to get the water out, and then he started taking some breaths.
By this time, Twin Falls Sheriff's deputies showed up on the water. Brendan was taken to St. Luke's Magic Valley Medical Center, but Rochelle still spent the night worrying. As a speech pathologist, she has seen the damaging effects caused by a lack of oxygen. But the next day,
his friends texted me and said he's walking and talking, and I didn't believe him.
She went to see for herself. After saving his life, Rochelle officially met Brendan for the first time. The two embraced.
What was that moment like to know that, you were doing chest compressions on this man who was dead the day before, and the next day you're able to talk to him and give him a hug?
I feel connected to him through our souls, or through our, I just feel like I know him.
Although thousands of miles apart, Rochelle and Brendan still keep in touch. Rochelle calls him her miracle man.
Well, that's what I told him. I said, sorry. I told him, I said, you have something on this earth you're supposed to do, because a lot of people were put in your path to meet you for a reason. And you touched my life, and I touched your life, and there's a reason for that.
Situations like this make you realize how much we don't appreciate the smallest of things, Brendan said in a Facebook post. I thank everyone that had a part in this. Not only did you save my life, you've changed it.
It's created a lot of soul searching for me, And one of the things that I think about is when I die, what do I want my legacy to be?
Chase Biefeldt.
And it causes you to pause and really think, you know.
Idaho's News Channel 7.